Hi friends, good day. Today I am starting a new topic called as depreciation. Most of you, those who are coming from commerce background, you might have learned the depreciation chapter. For you people, it's very simple. I think in 12th standard or inter second year, you will learn this chapter. So, what is depreciation? When you keep on simple words, when you keep on using the asset, the value of asset is being reduced. If you keep on using an asset, the value of asset keeps on reducing. How, sir? Like when you buy any asset, you take any example of your like we normally buy domestic items for our consumption for utility part, like you see the refrigerator or air condition or a mixie or a grinder, or we can say um, air cooler, fans, etc., furniture, television set, computer, mobile phones, just for you to have an idea of, and the building, if it's your own property, own land and building, or only it's a land, you look into it. See, when you buy, or you can say two-wheeler or four-wheeler which we possess, similarly business is also having some properties in their name. So this particular topic is when you keep on using the business properties which are called as fixed assets. That fixed assets, when you keep on using the way we use, as I told you, the examples I have given, in all these examples each asset is having its own lifespan, estimated lifespan. Nobody can estimate exactly how long we can use an asset, and that too, that is depending on our maintenance. If maintenance is good, asset will long last. Otherwise, if maintenance is poor, I think even if you look at the asset which you buy recently, looks like a 2 years old asset or 3 years old asset. So that is why each asset, you take example mobile phone, most of you are using it now. Most of you may be using the mobile phone to watch the video lecturing. How long you can use the mobile phone? Tell me. Smartphone, which we talk about nowadays. Once upon a before smartphone, it's a normal mobile phone. Even I've been using that Nokia Express. I purchased 10 years back, 11 years back. Still I'm able to use Nokia Express. It used to have color lights, display of lights. Whenever you go for any songs, downloading of songs, or uh, any type of that music, like we used to get different lights display. Wonderful small piece Nokia. Now, and that even I am using, maybe I've changed the battery twice I think, but that phone still I am able to use. What is actual useful life of that particular mobile phone? There, depending upon the battery, life of the battery. If life of the battery is depending upon the number of hours you use, it is only estimation. Specification they will be giving when you buy the mobile phone. They will be giving the manual, user manual. In that they will be telling you roughly the battery is going to work for so many number of hours. It's not that if I'm for daily, if I'm not using for more than 10 minutes the mobile phone, that it will, you can use that for a longer period of time. But smartphone, now everybody is busy using that. But one, you can take it for granted, the benefit of the item which we are using, I am talking about mobile phone, is more than 12 months. The benefit of items which we talk about, the mixie or mixture, grinder or whatever it may be, which we use, is more than 12 months. Air cooler more than 12 months, fans more than 12 months, furniture more than 12 months. They all are called as assets. But the amount which you spend is a huge amount, no? Suppose mobile phone is 25,000 rupees or Apple phone 50,000. Mobile phone. How long you can use? Say 5 years. 50 by 5. 10,000 is the value of the mobile phone that has been consumed. Okay. That means you are depreciating the value of asset. This can be linked to capital and revenue. The capital expenditure, when you acquire any asset, is a capital expenditure. Then the expired portion of that particular asset is a revenue expenditure. Expired portion. Expired portion means the value of the asset that has been used is called as expired portion. The expired portion of an asset, the expired portion of an asset is an expense. Means it is to be treated as revenue expenditure. That is what is called as depreciation. I told you 50,000 is the cost of mobile phone. So the estimated, now I think we are having most of the smartphones are inbuilt battery. Okay, so 50,000 by 5 years estimated life. 10,000. So 10,000 you are treating as a depreciation. That 50,000 initially when you have purchased, you learned that in final accounts. Initially you have purchased, it is an asset. That 50,000 rupees initially when you have purchased, it is an asset. That will be taken to balance sheet asset side. Excuse me. That is taken to balance sheet asset side. And the depreciation, I told you 50,000 by 5 estimated number of years which you are using. 10,000 as expired, you have used already benefit. The used portion is debited to profit and loss account, is called as depreciation. That you have learned in final accounts also. So at the end of first year, at the beginning of first year of purchase of asset, 50,000. At the end of the first year, the value of asset left out is 40,000. Next year again say 10,000. Then at the end of second year, value is 30. Third year 20. Fourth year 10. Fifth year nil. So within 5 years, the entire benefit of the asset has been consumed. It is as good as scrap. So I think that the particular topic is based on your estimation. Who can estimate? Technical people who are having knowledge on that will estimate. This, you take building, this building depending on construction, the lifespan of the building is say 50 years or 60 years. They say like that. For land there is no depreciation, there is always appreciation. For land you never calculate depreciation. You calculate depreciation only building. Land value appreciate, building value depreciate. If you are having asset called a land and building, for which asset you are having value? Land. The building value, initially value will be more. As you keep on using, it becomes a depreciation. Just this is general discussion. Everybody can understand this. So now we can see here. Introduction. Depreciation denotes, it is on the screen, you can see. Depreciation denotes the permanent and continuing decrease in the quality, quantity or value of the asset. Quality also. Quality, it's fade. When you say it's a old item, quality. In some cases quantity also, because you keep on using it, the quantity also is being reduced. Or value of asset due to wear and tear, lapse of time, obsolescence, exhaustion or accident. These all are the causes for depreciation, a permanent decrease. It decreases in the value of asset, but in terms of accounting, it is referred as decrease in book value of asset. This is what I told you. 50,000 is the cost of the asset. After using 10,000, the book value is 40. Next year onwards, what happened? Book value keeps on reducing. Depreciation is a permanent and continuous decrease in the book value of fixed asset due to use, reflection of time, obsolescence, etc. So it is treated as non-cash expenditure. and depreciation is a permanent and continuous in the decrease in the book value of fixed assets. This I told you. Depreciation is allocated as to charge a fair proportion of the depreciable amount in each accounting period during the expected useful life of the asset. That is what I tell you. Expected, how many years you can use that asset is called as expected. Depreciation includes amortization of assets whose useful life is predetermined. I think we need to use the terms, two terms. Tangible fixed assets, intangible fixed assets. For tangible fixed assets, we use the term depreciation. For intangible assets, we use the term amortization. And there he said, whose useful life is predetermined. The example of intangible assets, patents, copyrights. When I purchase a patent on a particular product, now we are saying COVID drug or COVID vaccine, the inventors are having, the pharmaceutical company or drug making company, vaccine making company, whoever invents that, they are having patent. If somebody wants to get that medicine, that formula, you need to pay some amount, substantial amount for using that patent. Patent, copyright, trademark, anything you can take. But when you take that, you can use that patent for so and so number of years, say for 10 years. Or you can use a trademark, my trademark, say for 5 years. Or you can use my copyright for so and so number of years. Then after that, I can't use the copyright. So if I say copyright is 1 lakh, I can use for 10 years. Every year depreciation 10,000. That is what depreciation includes amortization of assets whose useful life is predetermined, exactly because it is on the agreement. No, this I can use it for 10 years, or this I can use it for 5 years. Okay, concept of depreciation. Now, as per accounting standard 10, we used to call as accounting standard 10. You will be learning that in group 1, group 2 accounting standards. I am not going to list to discuss about that accounting standard 10. But fixed asset has been replaced by property, plant and equipment. Okay, what is the name of the asset now? It is called as property, plant and equipment. In future, fixed assets are being referred as per accounting standard 10, because in final accounts problems have not been updated. They are using same term, fixed asset only. Property, plant and equipment is consisting of plant, building, anything, office equipment, computer, fax machine, anything. But now in the fixed asset has been changed with property, plant and equipment, but you are having the list of assets that can be that will be given in the problem, and we need to work out the problem accordingly. The property, plant and equipment are tangible items. Tangible means which we can say are held for use in the production. The machinery, you are using the machinery in production, or supply of goods or services. I'm using machinery for supply of goods, packing, etc. Or services. There are some plant, water plant. I'm using that water plant for providing drinking water, cans, etc. Or for rental to others, I can give property, plant or equipment. I can like hire during summer season. Air conditions you can take on hire, air coolers you can take on hire, taxi or a vehicle or a bus or a car or anything on rental, or for administrative purposes, like equipment we talk about, fax machine or swiping machine or currency counting machine. We'll be using for typewriter, computer. These all are can be taken as administrative purposes and are expected to use during more than period of 12 months. I told you the benefit of which is more than 12 months is called as property, plant and equipment. Depreciation and component. This is the recent development. Component wise depreciation. See, generally sometimes what happen, you take an example of a the apartment or the building, the constructed building where we are staying. In our house, we are having number of assets. I told you. Air condition, air condition, air condition, or you take best time air cooler. Air cooler, for you to understand better, frame, body is different. The pump and motor, 3 components, fan, 4 components. Those who are using air cooler, you know that air cooler body wise we never have any problem. We may have a problem with a pump, or we may have a problem with a motor, or we may have a problem with the fan. Any one item has to be replaced. If you look at it, body lasts long. You can use the body structure, we can use, but fan lifespan may be different. Motor lifespan may be different. Okay, each component is having different lifespan. So once upon a time, we used to calculate on air cooler. Air cooler cost is say 20,000. Symphony. That Symphony 20,000. I am going to use it for 10 years. 2,000 depreciation. Just an example I am giving you. Again, we got methods of depreciation that we discuss. So what happened? The 2,000 rupees is depreciation that is being transferred to P&L account. Now what present depreciation method is that? No, don't calculate like that. You calculate depreciation for motor separately, fan separately, frame separately. This is what is called as component of an asset. It may be noted that accounting standards as well as Companies Act 2013 requires depreciation to be charged on a component basis. Each part of an item, property, plant, equipment with a cost that is significant, major, in relation to the total cost of the item should be depreciated separately. Even though we talk about only one asset, we were discussing about that. You take an example of aircraft that has been mentioned here also. I think will give you more clarity. Aircraft is a classic example of such asset. The airframe, body of the aircraft, engines and the interiors have different individual useful lives. What they are saying? They have divided the aircraft into 3 components. Airframe, that body of the aircraft. Generally, body of the aircraft will last long, having more lifespan. Engines, we don't know. Interiors, you see, for 4 years, 3 years, they keep on changing interiors to attract the customers. It looks so good. When you enter into the aircraft, you will be getting a nice feeling. So interiors, again, you are not sure. Only the management knows how long they want to maintain and how it gives a comfort zone to the passengers who are traveling in that. So interiors have a different individual useful life. So aircraft say 20 years or 30 years, engines say 5 years or 10 years, interiors say 2 years, 3 years, and you have to identify the cost of body of the aircraft, cost of the engines, and cost of the interiors, and on that you need to calculate depreciation depending upon the useful life of that particular item. Got it? So suppose 10 crores or 5 crores is the aircraft body of the aircraft. Engine is say 1 crore, interior say 2 crores. So you calculate according to their useful life. If the lifetime of the airframe being the longest of the individual lives of 3 major types of components, I told you already, which is having longest time, airframe, is taken as the life of the aircraft, it is important that other 2 major components, engine and interiors, are depreciated over their respective useful life and not over the life of the airframe. This once upon a time we used to calculate on the entire airframe body aircraft. Used to calculate depreciation. Now it's not like that. Airframe, the body of the aircraft, That is a long durability. You calculate the cost accordingly, engines accordingly, interiors accordingly. But however, other components which are negligible, usually small and low value, and you know that it is to be replaced, because frequently you need to see interiors every year. You need not, except maintenance, you need not replace. Engine maintenance is needed. Body frame, you may maintain maintenance, you need not change the body frame once a year. It's not like that. Other components, maybe electricity wire, electrical wiring, all things negligible part. And that, where to, how to calculate, that is what it's saying. Other components, usually small and low value, which will require replacement very frequently, may be depreciated over the useful life of the airframe, and their frequent replacement cost may be charged as expense. Somebody was having it out when we were discussing about capital and revenue. And replacement cost may be charged to expense as and when it is incurred. Frequently may be depreciated over the useful life of airframe. That means the small components whose cost is 20 lakhs. The 20 lakhs, suppose airframe durability is say 20 years. This 20 lakhs by 20 years, each year 1 lakh will be depreciated. Because small components, 4 or 5 components, small components, for each component you cannot identify the lifespan. Then how to depreciate? That is based on airframe. So all other components can be taken a fourth category. So the fourth category, even though 4 categories, other components will come under airframe category. Got clarity? Airframe one category, engine is another category, another component. Interiors, that means 3 types of major types or components. That now the small other components will can be added to a airframe component, and that according to whatever the airframe number of years which you can feel that you can use that airframe, the depreciation will be calculated accordingly. Okay, this is just theory part. You will be learning that again, since it is there. See, I can't straight away. This is small topic, but you better know the recent. Recent means so from 2013. This is, we are in 2020. You know, it's like, but those who are learned from intermediate, I don't know, the 12th standard, you got these things in the material when you have learned depreciation. I'm not sure of it because I've not gone through your books. So this is what the new concept which you should learn. Clear? Now, fixed assets are called as property, plant and equipment. Clear to all of you? So this is what is the meaning of depreciation on component of assets. And as I told you, other component, small value, where you need to replace, the replacement cost can be taken as an expense. It is debited to which account? Profit and loss account. An enterprise should allocate the amount initially recognized in respect of an item of property, plant and equipment to its significant part components, and should be depreciate each such part separately based on the useful life and residual value of each particular component. Residual value means scrap value. This we'll be discussing why residual value is important, how to calculate depreciation. We discuss on that later on. Causes of depreciation. The main causes of depreciation include the following. A. Physical wear and tear. When fixed assets are put to use, the value of such asset may decrease. The decrease in the value of asset is said to be due to physical wear and tear. When you are keeping on using it, value of asset may decrease with a passage of time. When assets are exposed to forces like natural, like weather, winds, rains, etc., value of such asset also decrease, even if they are not put into any use. Even if you don't use, if you this asset is exposed to weather conditions, asset value also will gradually decrease. Changes in economic environment. The value of asset may decrease due to decrease in demand of asset. The demand asset of the demand of the asset may decrease due to technological changes. This is what is called as obsolescence. Changes in the habits of the consumers. Like, I think mobile phone example. I think students or those who use the phone quite lot, 2 years is great. If you use the mobile phone without replacing, without having any major problem, 2 years or maximum 3 years is good. After 3 years, definitely you need to keep on changing the mobile phone. Okay, that is what. And also this is one aspect. The other aspect is that because I'm saying 2 3 years, because we are seeing frequent technological change. We're getting some new future always. Even mobile phone companies are coming out with OnePlus. We have recently seen. I don't have much technical knowledge, but I'm saying latest phone has come, or Motorola has come out with the new phone couple of days back, yesterday or day before yesterday. So like that, we are seeing that technological changes, old asset become outdated, demand will be less. So 2 years, 3 years down the line is great. And expiration of legal rights, example patent leases, the time bound agreement, decrease with the passage of time. These all are intangible in nature. Now this is all 3 points we have discussed: introduction, concept of depreciation, component of an asset. Now causes for depreciation, this also we discussed. Now need for providing depreciation. I think this can just sometimes sudden surprisingly you may get a theory question. Need for providing depreciation. What are the objectives of providing depreciation? Correct income measurement. If depreciation, it's like you learned in final accounts, matching principle. To earn profit, to earn income, you need to use several assets, and that asset that has been used in that year is depreciation, and that is an expense that should match for raising the income in that particular year. So for correct income measurement, depreciation must be charged for proper estimation of periodic profit or loss. So for correct income measurement, we need to go for depreciation. True position of statement. Value of the fixed asset should be adjusted for depreciation charged in order to depict the actual financial position. See, what is the book value of the asset today? You know that there is a mechanism for calculation of the asset that has been consumed, is called as, popularly called as, depreciation. And that particular percentage, say 20%, 10%, whatever you talk about, that particular percentage after calculation of depreciation, what happened? The remaining portion will appear in the balance sheet asset side, no? So that is what? True position. That asset value will give you true financial position of about your soundness and your financial position to the outsiders, people who are concerned with your financial position. They are investors. They're investors. So that is why for true position statement, you also need depreciation. Funds for replacement. Generation of adequate funds for replacement of the asset at the end of the useful life. And you know that when you keep on using the asset, you feel that the asset value is coming down. I think in future, by n number of years after expiry of this asset, I need to replace that. So now onwards, I keep on every year. I know that asset I can use for 5 years. I think this we also can apply. I want to replace mobile phone after 3 years. So what is the cost of mobile phone? Say 30,000. So from the day one, I should, or every year like 10,000, I need to pull up, because after 3 years I need 30,000. Maybe after 3 years it's not 30,000, it may be 40,000, or I don't know. At least what happened, I can keep that amount aside, like as if I've consumed portion, even it's a non-cash expenditure. Why non-cash expenditure? Because initially you've already made payment for acquiring the asset. Now the depreciation is not cash expenditure. Only the cash expenditure, huge amount which you have spent, you are allocating. You are spreading over a period of its estimated life. Every year, gradually, whatever you are using, that is being transferred to P&L account. So, but you know that at the end of the lifespan of the asset, you need to replace it. For that, you can stop planning. Then this is what is called as sinking fund. We'll be learning that later on. That ascertainment of true cost of production, you learned in manufacturing account. Cost of production, opening stock plus raw materials, opening stock of that is raw materials consumed, plus opening work in progress, plus direct expenses, minus closing work in progress, minus scrap value. You'll be getting cost of production. No? When you prepare manufacturing account, you need to calculate depreciation of the asset that is being used in manufacturing process for ascertainment of cost of production. Okay, clear to all of you? So next, factors in measurement, cost of asset. This is important. Now for calculating the depreciation, you need to have three information. Cost of the asset, the total cost of asset means purchase price of the asset plus expenses till the time it is put to use. This is what is called as capital expenditure. When you are acquiring an asset, till you use whatever, like we say installation charges. Installation charges are added to cost of asset, no? That is what. So say cost of asset 1 lakh. 10,000 installation charges. 10,000 transportation charges. What is the total cost of the asset? 1,20,000. That information I need. Clear to all of you? Original cost is different, cost of asset is different. Original cost 1 lakh. And the expenses which are incidental for using the asset, if you add it, it becomes cost of asset. Scrap value. The value of asset gets after completion of its lifetime is called as scrap value. It is also called as residual value or disposal value. See, every year when you buy an asset, every asset is having some scrap. You can sell it as a scrap. Some amount you will be getting. So suppose 1,20,000 asset. Scrap is 10,000. 1,20,000 minus 10,000 after 10 years. I'm expecting 10 years is useful life. After 10 years, I'm expecting that the scrap which I'm going to get by sale of scrap, I'm going to get 10,000. So 1,20,000 minus 10,000. 1,10,000 is called as depreciable amount. Here I'm giving the formula. Depreciable amount means the depreciation which I need to calculate. Depreciable amount is equal to cost of asset minus scrap value. Scrap value. It is also called as residual value. It is also called as disposable value. Useful life. Estimated number of years that asset is useful. So the enterprise is called as useful life. Say I told you, say for example, cost of asset 1,20,000. Scrap 10,000. Useful life 11 years. Depreciation 10,000 per annum. So come on, what is that information need? Cost of asset I got. I need scrap value I got useful life. Then I can calculate depreciation. But this, instead of doing for every problem like this, generally they will be giving percentage of depreciation for calculation. Clear to all of you? Okay, now we'll be learning the terms. Amortization. Amortization is also similar to depreciation. I told you already. Depreciation is used with reference to tangible assets, and depreciation provided on intangible asset is called amortization. And one more term we'll be using, depletion. Depletion is also similar to depreciation. Depletion is relevant in case of natural resources or wasting assets like mines. Whatever the expired portion of these natural resources called as depreciation. So please remember, depreciation and we also use the word obsolescence. In these four cases, these all are the terms which you use for reduction in the value of asset. Depreciation we use for fixed asset, that is tangible. A fixed asset, maybe generally for explanation sake I'm using fixed asset, so don't worry about it, but it is called as property, plant and equipment. Okay, I think most of us are being used to use the term fixed asset. So depreciable, tangible; amortization, intangible; depletion, natural resources; obsolescence, technological change. Due to these four reasons for this in 4 categories. When asset value is decreasing, we use the term depreciation, we use the term amortization, we use the term depletion, we use the term obsolescence. But for recording the transaction for all, we will be using the term depreciation only. We will be using the account called as depreciation account. But the explaining purpose to tell you somebody amortization term which we use, but we are not using amortization account, depletion account, obsolescence account. For all these 4 terms, what is a common term which we use for recording the expired portion of the asset, the benefit that has been consumed, the benefit that has been used? We need to use the term depreciation. Come on, tell me. Maybe amortization, maybe obsolescence, maybe depreciation, depletion, anything. But what is the common term which we need to use is depreciation. Okay, we need to use the term depreciation. Then methods of depreciation. Generally, methods of providing depreciation are based on formulae developed on a study of the behavior of the assets for a period of years for readily computing the amount of depreciation. This is what I told you. Generally, they will be having formulae and they will be giving the percentage suffered by different forms of assets. Each of the methods, however, should be applied only after carefully considering the nature of the asset and the conditions under which it is being used. Okay. Each of the methods, however, should be applied only after carefully considering the nature of the asset and the conditions under which it is being used. We can't generally say the same method of depreciation is applicable. So today's class, I'm going to give you different methods here. Straight line method, reducing balance method, third, sum of years digits method, fourth, annuity method, fifth, sinking fund method, sixth, machine hour method, seventh, production units method, 8, depletion method. We are having how many methods, my dear friends? 8 methods we are having. Okay. Then after that, these all are various methods for calculation of depreciation. So for your easy understanding, let me put it A. Methods of depreciation. Then that means today, from problems point of view, first point we should work out methods of depreciation, problems on that. Then after that, B, a problem is based on profit or loss on sale of asset. When asset is sold, you have to find out profit or loss on such sale. Third, change in the method of depreciation. Like sometimes it's a policy of an accountant that they have decided to change straight line to diminishing balance method. We'll be learning the method, one method to another method. This is called change in method of depreciation. On that we are having one example. Then this is C part of the question. D, revision of the estimated useful life of property, plant and equipment. This is revision of estimated useful life. E, revaluation of property, plant and equipment. F. Not sure whether it is there in the material or not. Thing I heard it has been taken out, but we'll see. Provision for repairs and renewals. So I think we should work out. We should start learning like this. So I told you already. Just a minute. I told you already. The theory part of today I have covered so far. Theory part of depreciation. See, my dear friends, since you are having statement true or false, it is important for all of you to go through the theory part. Don't neglect listening. Maybe 40 minutes or 45 minutes. I hope it is not boring, but it's required to understand the concept in a very uh, clear manner. Okay. So we start methods of depreciation, accounting treatment, and one thing I would like to remember for all of you, for all the methods, 8 methods which I are having, entries are same. Clear to all of you? Accounting treatment will be same. So before we start learning that, we will be learning the journal entries part. That journal entries part is called as accounting treatment. Okay. So today let us see that one also. Accounting entries under straight line and reducing balances method. It is not only for that, for any method you can follow. There are two alternative approaches for recording accounting and entries for depreciation. First alternative, a provision for depreciation account is opened and to accumulate the balance of depreciation and the assets are carried at historical cost. Second alternative, amount of depreciation is created asset account every year and the asset account is carried at historical cost less depreciation. Depreciation asset account, P&L account at R2, depreciation account. What I do for this, I used to give you journal entries here. Today's class, just remember, for various methods, entries will be same. Now here I am writing. When account is not open. What is provision for depreciation? We'll learn later on. But for the rhyming for this model 1, most of you, whoever is coming from 12th standard, you'll be following this only. That is why I'm starting with model 1 as when provision for depreciation account is not open. First, entry for purchase of asset. Asset account at R to cash or bank. I'm assuming cash or amount is being paid. Next, entry for depreciation on asset. For the year ending. Every year ending, we shall calculate depreciation. Entry depreciation account at R to asset account. Next, C. Entry for transfer of depreciation. Depreciation is a nominal account. You know that all nominal accounts are closed by transferring to profit and loss account. Entry. Profit and loss account data are to depreciation. Okay, now D. Suppose you sold an asset. After 2 years, after 3 years, you thought the asset has expired or it has become outdated. You decide to sell the asset. Here I am writing entry for sale of asset. And please remember, here you will be selling sale of old asset. You won't be selling the new asset. Entry for sale of old asset. When you sell old asset, you'll be getting cash, no? What is going out? Asset is going out. Bank or cash account data to asset account. Next. Entry for profit on sale of asset. So you have sold the above asset, no? When you have sold the asset, you have got the entry bank to asset account. Profit or profit on sale of asset. Asset account data to P&L account. I'm giving the direct entry. You can write profit or loss on sale, then profit or loss on sale is transferred to P&L account. But I'm giving direct entry here. Then F. If you got a loss, however, if there is a loss on sale of asset, if there is a loss on sale of asset, and you debit which account? Profit and loss account, or loss on sale of asset to asset account. Get all of you? I think these are the entries which you have to learn. Then what happens, sir? What is provision for depreciation? Before I go to explain you about provision for depreciation of asset, let me give a small example. Cost price say 1 lakh. This is on say 1st January 18. They are following, assuming whenever you are going for depreciation chapter, you should know what is the accounting year which they are following. Accounting year can be calendar year, that is 1st January to 31st December, or accounting year can be financial year also. So 1st January to 31st December, they are following accounting year of January to December. So depreciation at the rate of say 10% has been given. We discuss which method later on. 10,000. 90,000. Let us assume this will become then 1119. This is what is called as book value, or it is also called as written down. Written down means you are writing down 10,000, so asset values come down. Written down value, down or up, value has come down. That is what depreciation. Written down from 1 lakh, it has written down to 90. The difference is called as depreciation, 10,000. So let us assume this method which we talk about every year, same depreciation is called as straight line. Okay, so that also I can give you. This is SLM, straight line method. This is return down value. You'll be learning that later. SLM means what is that, my dear friends? Straight line method. Return down value means book value. Down value method is book value, or it is also called as reducing balance method. So same plant I am taking 1 lakh, right line 10%, return down value also depreciation 10%. Now see the difference. Again next year ending. Now depreciation at the 10%. Straight line means depreciation is always calculated on cost. What is cost here? 1 lakh. Under straight line method, depreciation is always calculated on cost at the rate of 10% on cost. That is coming to 10,000. 80,000. Here under return down value, depreciation on return down value. What is return down value? 90,000. So that is 90,000 into so how much you are getting? 81,000. This is today I have explained you about two methods. Straight line method. Straight line method means depreciation is always calculated on cost price. Return down value depreciation is calculated on book value. What is book value here? 90 after first year usage. On that you are calculating 10%. Now, then what happened? This depreciation in the above two examples, every year depreciation is being reduced from cost of asset. This is what I am writing. Note. In the above examples, common point is that depreciation is deducted the cost of the asset. Initially means in the beginning. Later on from the cost of asset initially, then in the beginning, that is later on from the book value, return down value. This is note 1. Note 2. If depreciation is not deducted from the cost of asset, from the cost of the asset or book value, then it is called as provision for depreciation. Now how, sir? Example. First method, not maintained. I'm taking example of cost price. AET. This is what we have seen. Second method. Maintain. What they do? The cost will be 1 lakh. The 1st January 18. And you create a separate account called as provision for depreciation for transferring the depreciation 10,000. 1 lakh no beginning. Provision is how much? 10,000. Second year 1 lakh, the above example. $10,000. Here what you do? Here 1 lakh has 10,000 has been deducted from asset, but here what they are doing, they are maintaining separate account called as provision for depreciation. Under this method, the depreciation is not adjusted. You are opening an account. Clear? Next year what happened? This will become opening balance. No, 10,000 brought down. Again current year depreciation 10. 10 plus 10 is how much? 20. Now what is the difference? Under this method, note. Asset is always maintained at cost, and the depreciation will be transferred to a separate account called as provision for depreciation account. Or accumulated depreciation account. And this account is closed when asset is sold. Otherwise, which account will continue? Provision for depreciation. Generally, this method is followed in corporate accounting. But general accounting, which method we follow? We follow which one? When provision for depreciation account is not opened. But corporate accounting, which method we follow? When provision for depreciation account is being opened. Let us see the entries. For acquiring an asset or purchase of an asset, you know that entry. Asset account debtor to cash or bank. Next, for depreciation, I try to compare this with the previous one. Entry for purchase of asset for the year ending, entry for depreciation. What is the entry I have given? Sorry. Depreciation to asset. Here what I do, I am not reducing. I have told you under this method, asset is not depreciated. Asset is always maintained at cost. But you open which account? Provision for depreciation. This is second year end. And this is cost price. 1 lakh is cost price. So what I do now here, for providing depreciation entries, depreciation account debtor to provision for depreciation. Third, entry for transfer of depreciation. P&L account debtor to depreciation. You can see depreciation account debit, depreciation account credit. Got cancelled entry, we can write P&L account debtor to provision for depreciation. That is what has been given in the material. P&L to provision. A provisional depreciation account is opened to accumulate the balance of depreciation, the asset carried historical cost. Entry P&L account debtor to provision. Whereas second alternative I made it first alternative. Amount of depreciation create asset account every year and asset account is carried historical cost less depreciation. Depreciation asset P&L account depreciation. Now same thing what I have done, instead of writing this is direct entry, but instead of writing the direct entry, what I have shown you is that first I have written entry for providing depreciation, then I have written entry P&L to depreciation, or we can directly write the entry P&L account to provision for depreciation also. Now let us look at the fourth entry what I have explained here. That is the, if asset is sold, see, please remember we don't have any problems or provision for depreciation at CA Foundation. You are having at CA Inter only for information. You are learning this. No need to worry about it. You are having only first method. The second method which we are discussing here in the classroom, where when provision for depreciation is very important for group 1, particularly CA Inter. CA Inter group 1. Is this clear? So entry for sale of an asset. Now here I am writing no. To find out profit or loss, sale of asset, the provision for depreciation account is closed. On sold asset I am telling you. That means provision for depreciation account, when it is transferred as asset account, to find out profit or loss on sale, the provision for depreciation on sale of unsold asset is transferred to which account? Asset account. Is this clear to all of you? That means how long provision for depreciation account is continued? Till asset is being sold. The entry will be then, in such case, we have written provision for depreciation account has been created. No, to close this it should be debited. Provision for depreciation account at R2 asset account. Clear to all of you? Provision for depreciation account at R2 asset account. Okay, entry for sale of assets, entry for transfer of depreciation. These points I have explained to you already. So then this account, when provision for depreciation account is closed, when asset is being sold, to find out the profit or loss, this account is closed. Please try to remember this. This is only important for group 1. For the time being, since it is there, it is, you should learn not from CA foundation point of view. Generally we haven't had any problem after stating that, but even if a question comes, you should be able to in a position to do it. It's not that difficult. Slowly you can make a note of it and you can have a comparison. Then next, fifth entry, entry for profit. As usual, what we have learned there, entry for profit, same for like first method. Profit entry, tell me. Entry for loss, okay. So with this, today's class I am concluding. So we have learned the entries. Briefly you have learned the difference between straight line and diminishing balance. Diminishing balance means the value of asset keeps on reducing year after year, is called as written down value. Written down value depreciation is calculated on book value, whereas straight line method depreciation is calculated on cost price. The main difference is, tell me. For calculating first two methods, we are having straight line and written down value. The main difference between straight line method and written down value method for calculation of depreciation is, point number 1, straight line method depreciation is always calculated on cost. Written down value method, SLM means straight line method. Written down value method, initially, that is beginning, depreciation is calculated on cost. When you purchase first year, beginning means first year, depreciation calculated on cost, but later on that is from second year onwards, it is calculated on written down value or book value. This is what I have explained you here. First year same cost, second year here written down value, here second year also on cost price. That is the difference between straight line method and written down value. With this I am concluding for today's class. In the next class we'll meet with working out the problems of different methods. Till then, goodbye, thank you, God bless you all.